It is now time for us to determine who is the greatest villain of all fiction. You're goddamn right. Today, we're gonna be putting all the God of War villains of all time in a single tier list. This is the tier list to end all debates. When I'm done here, I don't want to hear none of you motherfuckers in the comment section talk about I disagree, because I'm tired of that shit. All of you Elden Ring fans leaving long ass paragraphs in the comment section that nobody ever reads. If I see just one of you motherfuckers in the comment section of this video, just know I have your IP address and we gonna pull up to have a calm and reasonable discussion. Now that is out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain the rules real quick. The rules are real simple. S stands for Sparta, A stands for ass, guard, B stands for be better, C stands for can't compare, D stands for don't even try, E stands for even Icarus is better, and F stands for fuck you. Now let's get this shit. Alright, we got our first villain on the list. We're gonna be talking about Pollux and Caster. Now the first thing that pops up to my mind when I look at these individuals is, how the fuck did they even make it on the list? I mean, they had an okay boss battle, but then other than that, they serve zero purpose to the entirety of God of War. You take these motherfuckers out and nobody would care. I'm even looking at their designs and I'm thinking, they're copying off of Voldemort, they're copying off of the Lothric brothers. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put them in an E tier. Trash, like unoriginal and ass. Alright, the next villain we about to be talking about is the Furies from God of War Ascension. These are the main villains of God of War Ascension, and they was torturing Kratos for most of the game. As villains, they're kind of They're fine for the story that they're in. They're fine for God of War Ascension. Their boss fight is fine. It's cool that they tried to add them in the story by having them affiliate with Ares and his original plot to take down Olympus. And Ares is supposed to be the one who made it with the Fury Queen. And the only thing I got to say to that is, dang. Man's really went crazy with Alice Angel. I'm gonna have to put these freaks in the C tier. You know, they just can't really compare to the big baddies. Alright, next we got Persephone, the queen of the underworld. Persephone's pretty cool. What makes Persephone the best villain on this tier list so far is that she has superior motives and she has superior presence. Similar to Kratos, she was tricked by the gods of Olympus into a fate that she did not ask for, and she wanted revenge for that shit. She even had a W plan too. She made Morbius make all the gods go to sleep, and she gave Kratos what he always wanted, was to return to his family, but he had to give all his powers away, so it would be nobody to stop her for ending the world. And she would have got away with it too, but guess what this idiot decides to do? She decides to do a typical villain monologue and spill the whole plan to the protagonist character, acting like the protagonist don't got plot armor. Like, what is wrong with you? Why wouldn't you just end the world and not say nothing? I'm sorry, but that is a major L, and for that, you're only going in the B tier. You're almost as dumb as Odin. You know, speaking of Odin, we're done with these appetizer villains. Let's talk about the big baddies. Odin is next. Now, some may already be familiar with how I feel about Odin, but before I start talking crazy, I'll say this about him. He is nowhere near the worst villain of all time. While my opinion hasn't really changed on Odin, I still think he is one of the biggest disappointments to come out of God of War Ragnarok. I can still look at him and point out great qualities and great aspects to his character. The number one quality of the All-Father is that he is a fake ass nigga. He is willing to lie and deceive anybody that he seems that he can use in order to get what he wants, and he is very charismatic while doing so. When you observe his personality traits and actions throughout the game, it's easy to tell how Freya was able to fall for this shit when they was married. But with that being said, I feel like his intelligence and him being seen as a mastermind is still overrated. All the plans, all of the scheming that he does within the game doesn't force the hero characters into any type of desperate situations. The only dire consequence that happens from his plans is Brock dying. Like, you really expect me to look at Odin as some crazy impactful ass villain when the only impactful thing he was really able to do to the hero characters was kill a blue midget? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put this All-Father in the B tier. Moving on. Ares! Ares is one of the best villains of God of War based off of his importance alone. He was the main goal of the first ever God of War game, and his presence can be felt throughout the rest of the series. Because if we take out Ares, there is no God of War series, and there is no Ghost of Sparta. And if you really think about it, Ares can be the main one to blame for why Olympus is fallen, because he is the one who planted the seed in Kratos' mind to become this great warrior, to become destruction and death itself. And he even said that when you were about to kill him at the end of God of War 1. And what was the goal of Ares? To overthrow Olympus and destroy it, right? And he technically succeeded. It may not be the way you would envision it, but Ares technically won. In God of War 2 and 3, Kratos over here thinking that he's breaking his oppression through the gods, but the only thing he's really doing is carrying on the will of Ares, because this is what the original God of War always wanted. So I'm gonna put him in the S tier, you know, because he's one of the most important villains of all time. The same thing goes for Athena. Yes, Athena is a villain. If you don't think Athena is a villain, boy, you is stupid, stupid, stupid. This woman tricked Kratos into serving 10 years of godly labor, becoming a champion, a slave to Olympus, because Kratos over here thinking that he's about to get his wish granted of his nightmares in his head being freed. But then when he does everything they want, Athena's over here like, psych! And proceeds to give him a fate in which he did not ask for. In God of War 3, she's on that same manipulation type shit again. Only use him so she can get the power of hope and she can use it for herself. Pretty much, if it wasn't for her actions, most of the sequels for God of War would not exist. So for that, you know what I'm saying, she's going right next to Ares in the S tier. Alright, next up we got Thor, the Burger King of Thunder himself. It's not really much we can say about this fat boy. You know what I'm saying, he's just badass, you know, he's just badass. Entertaining personality, entertaining dialogue, entertaining boss battles, entertaining story arc. He is literally the full fat package. And the only flaw I really have is just this ending. I'm just really not a big fan of it. But other than that, he's one of the best villains that we ever got. Gotta put him in the A tier. Now Kratos, who should we talk about next? When discussing the particular topic of God of War villains, Zeus will be always one of the main ones brought up. This is the main villain of the entirety of God of War. If we were to compare this to Batman, Zeus is the equivalent to the Joker. The main villain, the biggest of the baddies. This is the biggest baddie of all of the God of War villains. The way that he was built up throughout the entirety of the Greek saga, like every game is always, oh, Zeus did this, Zeus did that, Zeus is the reason of this, Zeus is the reason of that. And when you finally get the opportunity to lay your hands on him in God of War 2, he runs away like a little bitch. And then we gotta wait for God of War 3 to come out to finally kill him. It's just, you're just as angry as Kratos. The King of Olympus is the #1 motivator to cause violence, and he is the host of the most satisfying beatdown of all the video games. And for that, I have to put him in the S tier, along with his children. Hades, not that one, this one. You know, Hades is pretty cool, just like his wife. Unlike his wife though, he is built up for like 3 games straight, because we have to go through the underworld time and time again, and that shit is annoying as hell. The underworld is home to one of my least favorite maps in the God of War series. Like bro, this shit right here legit gives me conniptions. Fuck the underworld. We even see him in the flashback of God of War 2, stealing the soul of, I think that's Atlas. He stole the soul of one of the Titans. So best believe it was indeed satisfying when I pulled up to his crib as Kratos and I was like, try that shit on me. And I ran his pockets. Same thing with Poseidon, but a little less though. Like he doesn't have no annoying ass levels or nothing like that. And the way Kratos did him, you would think that Poseidon really did something personal to him, but Poseidon had no beef with this man. So because I feel bad for you, and also because you had a fire-ass opening boss battle, I'm gonna put you right here. Hermes! Man, this nigga a bitch! Hermes is the equivalent of meeting an online trash talker in real life. Like, he is not about that life at all, and he only exists to make you angry. All talk, no action. And when he talks trash, it's not even clever with that annoying ass voice that he got. And his boss battle consists of literally chasing him. He throws no hands until it's too late. And he's trash at that too.
Forever ever cursed, forever ever doomed, consumed by vengeance to his last breath. The Spartan lights the way to dusty death.
Oh, you wanna say poems? You wanna throw poems? Alright, bet. I got a poem for you. It go like this. You little bitch! Yep, that's right, Hermes. Run away. all the way up to the C tier. Heimdall is next. When I first met Heimdall, I could instantly see where they got the ass in Asgard from, because this man is a pure, unapologetic asshole. He is such a douchebag character, such an unlikable character. Like, he's literally the equivalent to Hermes in the Norse saga. But unlike Hermes, Heimdall is actually pretty cool. You see, Heimdall is somebody I can actually respect, because Hermes, he talk trash and runs away from you. Heimdall is going to talk trash and embarrass you, and he's actually going to back that shit up. And his trash talk is superior too. When Hermes talks trash to you, the only thing you're going to hear is a fly buzzing in your ear. When Heimdall talks trash, you're actually going to feel insulted.
I do have to say, I am profoundly unimpressed. You are absolute, unqualified moron. I thought I found something. Yes. The dumb does not fall far from the tree. Well, you accomplish are boring. I am haunted by your incompetence. It keeps me coming. If we can only somehow harness your uselessness, we could fuel this entire city.
Call him a software.
And if you want to look at this man from a more positive perspective, you can, because his only true crime was being too loyal to Asgard. Gotta put him in that A tier. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. But other than that, I really hate God of War Ragnarok for real. That's why I like to go back in time and play God of War 2. Let's talk about the Sisters of Fate. The Sisters of Fate are supposed to be one of the most powerful deities in the Greek pantheon. Even more powerful than Zeus himself. Throughout the entire game, the only thing sitting between Kratos and revenge from Zeus is the sisters. We have to spend most of the game going through puzzles after puzzle, trials and tribulations, all to have an audience with these motherfuckers. Throughout the entire journey of God of War 2, you see people laughing at Kratos, doubting Kratos, saying you can't do this. Even the sisters like, oh, you can't change your destiny, you cannot change fate. Kratos has to dig deep to pull himself out of all these situations and break fate time and time again. And this theme adds to the newer games as well, especially God of War Ragnarok, because they're talking to the Norms and they saying that same shit. And Atreus is looking at Angerboda and she's saying that same shit. But then Kratos, being a good father, being like, hey man, don't listen to them. We can change our own destiny. Trust me, I've done it before. Their boss fight is immaculate. They over here taking Kratos back in time and stuff. It reminds me of the Ares fight. And their beliefs echoes throughout the entirety of God of War. And for that, I'm gonna put them right here.
Hercules.
Ain't really much to say about Hercules. He's absolute fire. He had one of my favorite boss fights in God of War 3, along with one of my favorite weapons. His voice shakes up the room.
Hello, brother.
So, B tier for brother. I see Thanos on a similar tier to the Sisters of Fate because of the message he tries to preach to Kratos, talking about you're just a pawn in a game you don't even know being played. And he also does something impactful. He kills his brother, man. Why would you do that? His boss fight is pretty fire too. They did the fucking call the support character thing way before 2018 and Ragnarok did it. So yeah, I gotta put this man in D tier for Deimos. Baldur is the same as Thor. He has entertaining personality, entertaining dialogue, entertaining boss battles, entertaining story arc. The only problem I have is, how is your name Baldur and you're not even bald? F tier for Fred. My boy Kronos. Damn, you dumb as hell. While Kronos is a very significant character because he is the granddaddy of everyone in Greek existence, his intelligence is horrible. The only thing he does is gets bullied by his children and then later by his grandchild. So you telling me this Titan was swallowing his children and not chewing because he was scared of the prophecy of them surpassing him? And then when he fights his grandchild, he tries the same shit? C tier. Loki, we ain't forget about you. All them damn shenanigans that you pulled in the game, evil as hell. Take your ass up to the S tier. Honorable mentions. Gaia, she's a B tier. Helios, you a D tier. Icarus, you a S tier. Yep, so that is the tier list. Now looking back at it though, I'm a little shaken on certain things. I think I would probably put the Furies a little lower, and I might put Persephone a little lower as well. There was one more villain I was supposed to talk about, but I forgot his name, and he's not even popping up on the screen.
I'm right here.
What you mean you're right here? Like, I don't see you.
Over here.
What?
Over here now.
You? Absolutely not. We're not talking about you. You're not even worth it. Leave me alone.